Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another amazing video on Screen Amuse. Today we're discussing the top 6 characters who killed TV shows. We've all experienced that feeling of disappointment when our favorite characters were written off a show, leaving us wondering what could have been. So let's talk about some of the characters who really killed it and took their shows to the grave with them. Get ready to find out who these characters are and why they're so notorious for killing TV shows. So let's get started. Number 6. Scrappy-doo, Scooby-doo. Scooby-doo has been an iconic TV show for generations, but everyone remembers the one character who killed it, Scrappy-doo. After a long run of reruns and sagging ratings, producers Hanna-Barbera decided to introduce Scooby's feisty nephew. Though the show was renewed, the small pup caused a ripple effect that has been felt to this day. In Scooby's first live-action feature film, Scrappy was even portrayed as an exiled member of Mystery, Incorporated who peed on other members. So when it comes to Scooby-Doo, it's an all-time classic, but when it comes to Scrappy-Doo, best to just leave him in the kennel. Number 5. Nettie Bertram, The Office. Nettie Bertram was a character that had no place in The Office, and her presence felt forced. Her attempts to take the lead role felt desperate and awkward, and the show lacked the chemistry that made it so popular in the first place. She quickly became disliked by fans, and her interactions with the Dunder Mifflin crew were more cringe-worthy than entertaining. In the end, Nettie Bertram was a character that killed the show and literally did not justify her sudden dominant presence in the show. We believe the show would have done much better without her existence. What do you think? Drop your thoughts below. Number 4. Wesley Crusher in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Wesley Crusher's days came to an end after the show's 4th season. The character had been killed off, with no explanation given as to the cause of death. Though it was never officially announced, it was rumored that the character was killed off due to Wheaton's poor acting chops. In fact, the show's writers had decided to pull the plug on the character following a particularly bad scene in which Wesley and Captain Picard had an argument. Though Wesley Crusher's death was not officially confirmed, many believe that it was the only way to save the show from further embarrassment. If Wesley had remained on the show, it would have likely been the death of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Thankfully, the series was able to survive and go on to become one of the most beloved Star Trek series ever. Number 3. Skyler White, Breaking Bad. Skyler White was not always the villain of Breaking Bad. In fact, she was a kind and caring wife and mother who tried to make the best of a bad situation. However, her refusal to accept her husband's criminal activities ultimately led to her becoming one of the show's most hated characters. Despite her understandable outrage and moral objections, Skyler was demonized by fans of the show. But it was her own actions that killed her character's popularity, making her the one who killed Skyler White. Number 2. Billy Jenkins, Charmed. Kelly Cuoco's character Billy Jenkins was the one who killed the TV show Charmed. While her presence did bring some life to the show, her performance was too cheesy, her one-liners too weak, and her storyline too bogus to be taken seriously. Fans of the series were left wondering why producers decided to bring in an outside character with no real connection to the show, and the answer was clear. They wanted to make the show more attractive to younger viewers. Thankfully, Billy's stint on the show was short-lived, and we can all be thankful for that. Number 1. Emily Waltham, Friends. Emily Waltham, the charming beauty who came into our lives on Friends and out of Ross' heart, was the one who killed the show. She was the third wheel in Ross and Rachel's relationship, the one who had Ross wrapped around her finger and put a wedge in the couple's romance. Although we all knew Ross and Rachel were meant to be together, Emily kept them apart for too long, leaving the audience frustrated and desperate for them to get back together. Emily may have been a beautiful distraction, but she was a distraction nonetheless, and it was time for her to go. After all, she almost broke up the gang. These were the top 6 characters who killed their respective TV shows. While some of them were intentionally killed off, others were a result of bad decisions by the writers. Either way, these characters will live on in infamy. So, while you can't always choose the fate of your favorite characters, you can at least mourn their passing. See you soon in the next video. Bye.